Sweet potato seasoning powder production begins as fresh raw materials arrive at the factory.
In sweet potato seasoning powder production, each delivery is carefully aligned for safe unloading.
All right, hold it right there. Stop.
Automated conveyors transfer materials into the sweet potato seasoning powder production process.
Strict inspection ensures only quality ingredients enter sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Defective materials are removed from sweet potato seasoning powder production immediately.
Approved batches move deeper into sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Every batch in sweet potato seasoning powder production is digitally tracked for accuracy.
Operators supervise sweet potato seasoning powder production in real time.
The process continues as materials advance in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Next, cleaning begins in the sweet potato seasoning powder production process.
In sweet potato seasoning powder production, the cleaning process begins immediately. High-pressure water removes dirt during sweet potato seasoning powder production. Waste and impurities are flushed out in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The process continues as materials move forward in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
A final rinse ensures purity in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Workers verify cleanliness throughout sweet potato seasoning powder production. Excess moisture is removed in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The cleaned batch advances in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The process flows continuously in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Next, shaping begins in sweet potato seasoning powder production. In sweet potato seasoning powder production, the shaping process begins instantly.
Outer layers are removed during sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Waste material is separated in sweet potato seasoning powder production. The process continues forward in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Precision cutting begins in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Each piece is cut evenly in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Uniform slices move forward in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Consistency is monitored throughout sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The flow remains uninterrupted in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Next, moisture removal begins in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
In sweet potato seasoning powder production, moisture removal begins immediately. Controlled heat is applied during sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Airflow ensures uniform drying in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Moisture is gradually removed in sweet potato seasoning powder production. The process continues across multiple levels in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Temperature is precisely controlled in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The slices are now fully dehydrated in sweet potato seasoning powder production. Texture is carefully maintained in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The flow continues without interruption in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Next, fine processing begins in sweet potato seasoning powder production. In sweet potato seasoning powder production, fine processing begins immediately. The material is broken down during sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Processing continues step by step in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Only fine particles pass through in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The powder is collected during sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The flow continues smoothly in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Further refinement ensures consistency in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Texture is monitored throughout sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The process continues without interruption in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Next, blending begins in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
In sweet potato seasoning powder production, blending begins immediately.
The base material is mixed during sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Precise ingredients are added in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Uniform blending is achieved in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The process continues steadily in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Mixing conditions are controlled in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Consistency is maintained in sweet potato seasoning powder production. The blended material moves forward in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The process flows continuously in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Next, verification begins in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
In sweet potato seasoning powder production, verification begins immediately. Samples are collected during sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Samples are prepared in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Detailed analysis is performed in sweet potato seasoning powder production. Results are monitored in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Visual checks ensure standards in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The process continues smoothly in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
The flow remains uninterrupted in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Next, final packaging begins in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
In sweet potato seasoning powder production, final packaging begins immediately.
Accurate filling is ensured in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Each packet is securely sealed in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Product details are added in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Automated systems handle packaging in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Bulk packaging is completed in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Final checks ensure quality in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Products are prepared for distribution in sweet potato seasoning powder production.
Sweet potato seasoning powder production is now complete, ready for delivery.